Hello, hello, hello.
How are you?
We
Good
got
morning.
our music back.
I know it was very. I could barely hear it, but I could kind of hear it. So I think it was there. Yeah, we're live. You just never know what's gonna
We're
happen.
here. It's all good. And it's Groundhog's Week too. How was your how the heck have you been this week? A lot going on.
Yeah, it's just another week. Another week. Can't complain. All the fun. How about you?
Another week, 6 weeks of winter, right? So here we go. But we're in, luckily, Southern California. We aren't dealing with any ice storms or anything like that.
There is that. Although I will say it's been like in the 60s out here, or high 60s. I'm like, oh, this is kind of brisk. So
Ooh,
yeah,
it's a
that's
little
kind of
cold.
sad. It's kind of sad, but that's all right. It's okay.
Yeah.
So we should have a very exciting episode today.
Yes. I'll let you do the honors. I'm so excited.
Well, I mean, I don't even know where to begin with this one. I mean, this is really cool. It's like a kind of a big get for us. So we're pretty excited. We have Chief Rhambo from Lawa is here. So why don't you come join us?
Come on out.
Thank you so much for joining us on a Friday morning
Hey, thanks for having me.
because you have nothing else to do, you know.
Nah, NFL, Super Bowl, a couple little things, but it's not that bad.
You'll have time for us.
I love it. Making time for the community. We really appreciate you being here. We know you're a busy man, but we have so many questions for you. We're excited to kind of pick your brain and hear your experience. You're an amazing chief. And how did you get to where you are? What was your journey? Did you always know you wanted to join? Tell us what it was like.
Actually, no, I grew up in Compton in South Central LA, and I was around during the Watts riots. So I've been around a long time, but I started out as a lifeguard for Parks and Rec in the 70s. And when I got out of college, I graduated from Humboldt State. And I remember a friend of mine came down to LA and he says, "Hey man, they're hiring LAPD cops, and I'm like, I never really thought about that. So I go down here and I applied for LAPD and I applied for the sheriffs, and the sheriff's department just happened to call me first. And so I spent 33 years in the sheriff's department. And then I worked all kind of assignments. I worked everything. I worked undercover narcotics back in the Pablo Escobar days. I actually had hair back then. So all that Miami Vice stuff and all that was going on. And, during the Rodney King disturbance, I was a sergeant, platoon sergeant out in the field. I led a squad during the 94 earthquake. I worked internal affairs twice at 2 different ranks. I ran the Asian organized crime unit. So I had a wonderful career, and I retired, in 2014 as assistant sheriff. And at that point, I had almost 40 years of service in the county at that point. So I got recruited at that time to get into city management. And I did that in Carson. And then I was a city manager in Compton for a while because I was their first full-time police chief in Compton when we took over policing them in 2000. So I got asked to come back and be their city manager. So I spent 5 years plus outside the uniform. And then honestly, I was kind of, chilling out at a hostel in Maui. And I got a call from the CEO here at the airport, and Deborah Flint, she goes, "Hey, I got a chief of police job coming open. Are you interested?" And, I might've been a little drunk, might've been drinking. And I was like, you guys aren't going to hire me. So I threw my name in the hat. And so I've been here for the last two and a half years. So that's kind of how I got to this spot.
Okay, I have to backtrack a little bit here.
Yeah.
Because this is okay. I'm going to warn you. This is how my mind works. You said Miami Vice, so Crockett and Tubbs, and do you still wear the pastel jackets with the sleeves rolled up?
Oh yeah, you know what? I have some crazy pictures of dope back in the day. So yeah.
Oh my gosh.
How do we
Big
know?
hair.
Let's see it.
I worked undercover Catalina Island. I worked undercover for the FBI.
Oh my God.
It was there was a lot going on back then, and if you remember those days, there was a lot of gang violence, a lot of. I mean, we were seizing at that time. We were seizing $71,000 every business day. There was big money, big dope, a lot of stuff going on at the time, very violent. There was a lot of stuff going on. So.
Wow, I'm just in awe. I'm like, when are we, one, and when is your book coming out, your your memoir, and two, when can we make the movie of Chief Rhambo's life?
Oh no. Yeah, no, not at all. I'm just a regular person I'm kind of like the Forrest Gump of my friends, right? I've like been at all these crazy periods in history of the last 35 or 40 years. And, so here I am. And I'm just very fortunate actually, because, I'm adopted from an orphanage in Korea. And so I'm really just fortunate to even be here as a naturalized US citizen, to be able to even do this. So I consider myself very lucky.
You've had one heck of a life. I mean, this is just, I feel like this could probably be like a 4-day episode of just talking with you. But so you're at LAWA now. There's a lot of changes going on, but I really want to ask about travel, and really quick question about that. It seems like we watch the news, and it seems like people are starting to lose their mind a little bit, like they're kind of going a little bit crazy. How do you deal with just everything that goes on, because LAX is its own separate beast. So you've got that going on. You've got the issues of celebrity and paparazzi. How do you manage all of that stuff?
Well, it's because it's LA, it's not new. So the staff here has, they're pretty used to it. And so, you've had people, like Mike Tyson, all these people come through that are pretty well known and stars and stuff. In terms of the behavior of people, yeah, you're starting to see, we saw an uptick when like the mask mandates came up, people assaulting our staff, assaulting the airline personnel, that kind of thing. But it's not as widespread as you think, although here at LA, because of our volume, we have more of it than most of the large airports around the country. Alcohol is always a contributing factor. So, but the passenger load we're about 68% of capacity, post pandemic. So that helps. But yeah, it's just, we get a lot of training. I sent a lot of my folks to crisis negotiations training, or dealing with people that are experiencing, mental health issues, as well as, maybe they're under the influence. And so we slow things down and try to be much more patient and de-escalate issues before they ramp up.
That's good.
I think that's amazing too, that you're incorporating, I know like you were mentioning the mental health aspect, of law enforcement and everything. I think that's huge. And is that something with the new modernization of LAX, terminal, or your new airport facility? Is this something that's incorporated into all of these new changes that are happening?
Well, how we deal with passengers, I've been a cop a long time. This is my 36th year doing this. So having worked with folks that have mental challenges and drug addictions and things in the past, it's just experience. And so when I got here, I bolstered up a special team that deals with like our unhoused, as well as our people that are having these issues. And so sending them the training and then passing that training on to other uniform folks is really important, because it's really about customer service here, right? It's an experience. People are coming here from other countries. Maybe they have different preconceptions about police. So we want to make sure that, they understand that we're not, we're friendly and that we're trying to be helpful. And so we like to project a certain type of personality as law enforcement here.
So do you find that how was the transition to go from, the city side to retirement and having a couple drinks in Maui, back to working at LAWA? Like what was the biggest, how was the mentality different, or is it the same? Like how do they compare to each other?
Yeah, it's a little different, because in the sheriff's department, I patrolled areas that were, had a lot of gangs and a lot of violence, and also had Malibu, and also had, La Cañada. So the environment for street law enforcement is always different from community to community, as well as just the flavor and the culture of the organization. Here at the airport, it's specialized policing. Everybody really joins with the knowledge that we're kind of like the front door to the nation. and so it's kind of like a Staten Island kind of feel. So we know that when people come in, we're not here to, deal with, gobs of violent crime and those kinds of things. We're really here to make sure that everybody's safe. They see us. And then God forbid, if something happens in terms of terrorism, we are the protectors of that. And we do a lot of training and intelligence, and we have a number of things that we really can't go into detail about here at the airport in terms of security, but trust me when I tell you, there's many layers of it. So that's our perspective.
That's fair.
And in speaking of security, can you tell us a little bit, is there a canine force?
Yeah, we have the largest number of dogs actually west of the Mississippi, perhaps even in the nation. I have 30 dogs. So most of the dogs are bomb detection dogs, and we do have a couple of dual purpose animals in case something gets, there's a need, but we have a lot of canines, and they're wonderful. The canine in fact, one was in my office yesterday. He just loves his job.
Now I'm sitting over here. My dog is actually over here snoring because he's on his 14th nap of what'll be 300 for the day. So how do you not just want to play with them all day? I know this is totally getting frivolous, but wouldn't you just want to go I just want to cuddle with a dog all day?
Trust me, the handlers do, but I don't see the dogs often, but the handlers are very attached to the animals. They take them home. They have to have a kennel at the house. And so they're with their animals, almost 24/7.
So it really is like a 24/7 partnership. I mean,
that's their partner.
Work and play. Okay.
Exactly.
That's amazing. we just had to ask about the dogs. We are mostly concerned about hearing about the dogs. But and we know, so I take it maybe you're a dog lover, maybe not, but I'm an
animal lover. I am. I don't have a dog right now because the dog I did have, of course, was my daughter's dog. My daughter's 25 now, but she had this Chihuahua since she was 13. I'm I cannot believe how long this dog lived. But the whole point is, I just don't have time to take care of an animal, and dogs require a lot of time. And
Yes.
I would really do a disservice to an animal at this point.
Yeah, I don't know how you make time for anything. When I feel like this question is silly because we know you have no time. What do you do outside of your, work time?
Well, so you can tell by the background, I really, really am a beach lover, and particularly tropical beaches. So my girlfriend's family is from Belize. So whenever we get an opportunity, we go there. But I have family. My ex-wife is Filipino, so we have a lot of family in Hawaii. So I spend a lot of time there. I have friends who've retired there. So, I go and I guess I'm kind of bohemian. I have enough money to stay in a hotel, but I usually couch surf. So.
What?
Why?
I know you said hostel earlier, and I was gonna bring that up.
Well, you got to remember, I went to Humboldt State, so I'm a camper. I'll throw a backpack on and just go over there and figure it out. I do that stuff a lot, and so I'm that guy. And so I like to live like that. It's just the older I get, the less stuff I want, and if I want conveniences, I'll just walk down to the nice hotel and eat and sit around and lounge around in the lobby and hang out by the pool. I'm good.
I'm very concerned. Very concerned. That's my own little attitude. So now you mentioning travel. So when you travel and you land at another airport or anywhere, are you able to not to take the chief of police hat off, or do you look around you messing up here? You're doing great here. How does that work for you?
I do look around a little bit. I look to see where their security is, what their security looks like. But I don't get too wrapped up in it. I think after being at the airport, I realized how safe the air industry is. And so knowing more about the background of it, I feel much better. I can tell you as a city manager, though, that kind of changes my perspective. So when I travel to cities, for instance, when I went to New Orleans, I was looking at, New Orleans is an older town. And so as a city manager, you're looking at little things like grass growing up out the sidewalks. These lights are out on this particular street. What's going on with the potholes? How do you fix that? So that's a whole different, I look at the world completely different now,
We've got a question from the audience too.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of your Hawaiian Island travel, what is your favorite Hawaiian Island?
I've got to say it's Kona or the Big Island. And I've been to all of them except for Lanai. So they're all very beautiful, but they all have different personalities. And I can tell you that unless you've seen the volcano or you've seen Waipio Valley, and the Big Island is really, really big. Imagine Los Angeles County, Kern County to Long Beach to Riverside and San Bernardino County with only 200,000 people. That's what the Big Island is like. It is huge and is sparsely populated. I just love it.
So now when you were traveling, I have to go back here a little bit. I just have to. So you're traveling around, and this is when you were working on the city side or city manager, and you would be pointing out or noticing things like this. Did anybody traveling with you at the time just be like, oh dear God, can you just relax?
Yeah. So my girlfriend, she's like, why do you care about the grass growing up out of the sidewalk, or how?
I don't understand.
Exactly. I'm like, well, I even talked to some homeless folks in New Orleans, and I talked to them because I ran into some folks that were living under a bridge, and I said, well, what are the shelters like out here? What do you guys do? How is the programs? And most of them say, look, we'd love to go to the shelter, but they're so inconvenient. You have to leave in the morning and you can't stay overnight. And when you come back, you have to wait in line and all this. So that's why we choose to live the way we live. So I'm always looking for ways to better what's going on here in LA. So there may be some best practices out there, and what better way to talk to the people who are actually impacted by it. So I'm kind of a weird person. I do stuff like that. I've taken pictures we have a person here who, I haven't seen him in a while, but he's a regular and he's always wanted to go to Australia. And so I go, I know you. And I took a picture with him and we talked, so it's just, I don't know. I need intervention.
No, I think it's amazing that you are so involved, and I think everything that you're saying, how are you going to fix the problem if you're not learning from people that it's affecting?
Yeah. So I'm very empathetic, and I'm just different. I think I really like people, and I know police work is really it's really a challenge, and sometimes we get blamed for treating people a certain way, and I understand that. But often we're tasked with dealing with people who are facing circumstances that we didn't create. And so, that's one of the things I liked about being a city manager, because I could, I understood how to develop housing. I understood how to get people jobs or work with Section 8 housing and bridge housing and things like that. And so it just made the understanding the society in a bigger picture easier.
But I think you bring up something that's super important, is that one, you have, especially for what you do, it helps to like people. It's kind of important, I would think. And so that's going to lead me to my next thing. So you're about to deal with a lot of people pretty soon, because we have Super Bowl coming up. You have the Olympics in a few years. How are you preparing for that? And how many trips will you be having between those two events?
Yes.
All right. So the Super Bowl we've been planning for, the last several months. And so that's all coming to fruition. And it's interesting because you do all this planning for really is roughly like 24 hours, right? They come, the fans land, and then they leave. So there's a lot of planning that goes into, the security as well as the arrivals of the teams, how we get them out to their venues, and then we hand them off to other agencies that deal with that. So we've been working collaboratively with a number of agencies throughout the region. Here at the airport in particular, we have federal agencies, the FBI, CBP, federal air marshals. There's a whole host of the alphabet soup of federal government that we work with here also in keeping the airport safe. And so as we move forward, and we already do so this event is kind of like one of the templates that we'll use when we go to the World Cup or we go to the Olympics. And in fact, I was on the Olympic escort cadre in '84 when I was a deputy back then. So I have a little bit of experience on how we staged, where we traveled, how we transported people safely throughout the city and the county to the various venues.
No pressure.
So fascinating. I'm like, just the scale, the magnitude of all of that. It's hard to imagine. And then thinking of how you have to plan out and prep for every type of scenario within that magnitude mind-blowing.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people that are involved, and so there, I mean, because LA is, so many things happen here and have happened here, from big disasters to, it's not uncommon for, V POTUS, because the vice president lives, close to be here. And so we plan for her arrival and departure. So it's almost routine actually now.
That's exciting.
Another day.
I know, I'm kind of like blown away. I'm like, my day seems kind of boring now. I mean, I'm okay with it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, enjoy boredom. Enjoy it.
So really quick on the Super Bowl, do you get to go?
Actually, no, the Super Bowl is very tightly regulated. I mean, I don't think I can, I'm not going to be able to just put my uniform on and just happen to end up on the 50-yard line. That's not going to happen. So,
Sure.
yeah, not that that hasn't happened before with other agencies, that, that's probably why the security is so tight. So I can just tell you, without going into too much detail, there are a number of layers of security for even uniformed or dignitary type personnel to be where they're supposed to be or where they can't be. And those rules are going to be very strictly adhered to.
I love this little secret layer, because he's giving us just enough so we know, don't ask another question.
Yes, he's like, there's no follow-ups from this. Oh, I love it though. And sort of switching gears, that what's next week for the LAX Coastal Chamber.
Oh, the appreciation for
Yes, it's
first responders.
Yes, Protectors Appreciation Week.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you guys. And I think that, so often law enforcement in particular, it's such a, you do millions and millions literally of positive contacts, and then it takes one negative contact, and next thing you know, there's riots and all these things. But I think by and large, my years of experience have led me to realize that the general public really likes and trusts law enforcement, fire personnel, doctors, nurses, the people, particularly during COVID, that had to really go out and work regardless of, the dangers. I've eulogized 3 personnel since I've been here, 4 technically, because one was unfortunately killed in a motorcycle accident off duty. But, having to go to all these services due to COVID, I think really strikes home. And I mentioned I was adopted early on, but I found my real father on Ancestry when I was 57 or so, when he died from COVID last year. And so it's really touched me personally, and not only in this profession, but also in my personal life. And so we really appreciate the appreciation out there that, because I think this thing with COVID is something that I for the life of me, I can't understand why people still are resistant to certain things, because we're on track to lose almost 1 million people from this just here in America.
Aren't we right around there now? Yeah.
900 or something. I mean, more people have died from COVID in America than all wars combined since we've existed as a nation, which is mind-boggling.
Well, that got depressing. No. So I think this has actually been really kind of fun. Are we doing rapid fire? Are we going to do the rapid round? I think it's time to go in the rapid round.
Here we go.
So are we ready?
Okay, Joel, drum roll, please.
We have no budget, so it's me banging on the table. That's kind of all we got here.
Welcome to the Binge Live Rapid Fire Round. You will have 3 seconds to answer the following questions. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Who are you rooting for the Super Bowl?
LA Rams.
And what is your favorite couch that you've ever surfed on?
My buddy's couch in Nantucket.
I like it. Okay, you're able to invent anything. What do you invent?
A machine that will magically transform everyone to be kind, gentle human beings.
Oh, wow. I love that. Okay, time travel exists. What decade do you go to?
Go back to the 70s when I had big hair.
We're gonna see pictures. You promised us pictures. You heard it. And can you please describe yourself in 3 words?
A gentle, decent human being. I think that was more than 3. Sorry.
We'll give it to you. You're quick on this. I like it. What is the best advice that you've ever been given?
Just be yourself.
Love that.
Favorite pizza toppings?
Pepperoni and olives.
Oh, interesting. And if you had a song that played when you walked into a room, what would it be?
What's Going On by Marvin Gaye.
I like it. And what's one question that you wish people asked you?
That's past 5 seconds. Yeah, that I wish they'd ask me. Give me some advice.
Okay, I like it. I like it. We'll give it to you. And would you rather have invisibility or be able to fly?
Be able to fly.
And you've given us so many fun facts already, but give us a fun fact about yourself.
I must have vampire blood because I seem to be aging in reverse. I don't know.
Thank you for the clarification on that.
Great, great job. Round of applause, everyone, for Chief Grandpa, the vampire police chief.
That was a very interesting little one right there. Okay. But yeah, you do look like you're aging backwards. Like you look young. It's kind of disturbing.
Yeah, I was born in the 50s. Yeah. So.
I mean, more power to you. Like seriously.
I have to ask too, have you always had the mustache?
Ever since I could grow one, right? So, and that's kind of like I've shaved it off before, but I've always had kind of a baby face. And so the mustache thing is, as I started losing my hair, I thought I got to have some hair somewhere. So, but I noticed very few people have mustaches nowadays. So it's now like a trademark.
Yeah.
So like when it's November and everybody's growing their mustaches, you just look at them like, y'all are fake. Like, just don't even try it. Just don't play.
Posers.
Like this is year round.
I gotta say, this has been an absolute blast, and we cannot say thank you enough for all the one making time for us. I mean, we go, you got things to do, but seriously, and for all that you've done, just for the city, for at Lawa, all the work that you've done to just keep everybody safe and protected and sane. Seriously, thank you so much for everything that you've done. Like, we really are incredibly grateful to you and everybody that works with you. So thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate the time and let me be myself. And, so I think really the demonstration of, I really like people. And I think it's important for people that wear this uniform to just be people, just be, normal. My rank has no bearing on, the decency of myself as a human being.
Well, I think, okay, I'm just going to address this one really quick. I don't want to take up too much time. But what you're saying is so important because we're surrounded in this world of social media where all we're getting is bad news. And so I think the message that you're giving us right now, or that you're reinforcing, because I think we all know it, is so important. You're inundated with like these stories, and yes, they are horrific. And I'm not downplaying anything, but these are kind of the exceptions to the norm. And I think that's kind of what people have to keep focused on and realize that you are a person. The people who work for you are a person, and you are genuinely trying to do good in the world. And so, again, I mean, I just want people to kind of remember that. Like, it's not, I think you know what I'm saying. I hope.
I do. I get it.
I'm trying not to get on the soapbox. I know it's hard, but yeah.
No, we appreciate you. Thank you really again for taking the time. We know we've only scraped the surface. People are commenting, Chief Rhambo's got to come back. We just got chapter 1. So,
But you've got to be dressed up in your Miami Vice days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have to get an Afro wig for that one.
We're ready for a recreation. We could do it. We could do a throwback episode.
Yeah.
You're like, no.
He's like, oh, what? I gotta go.
Yeah. But seriously, thank you so much for your time. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us and watching and partaking in all your questions. Have a wonderful weekend. And
have a great weekend.
See you guys at the next hostel.
Yeah. I will not be there.
Bye, Chief Rhambo. Thank you.
Bye-bye.